Welcome back to the Zarlengo Foundation Unlocking Learning Disabilities Podcast. Today, I am joined by Terry Noland from Learning Ally. Terry, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So can you just give us kind of a background of your job and your education and what you do for Learning Ally?
Yeah, so I have been at Learning Ally. It's a national nonprofit organization that's been around for over 75 years. And most people are like, 75 years? That is a long time. And sometimes we've been known as the best kept secret, which I wish was not true, that it doesn't need to be a secret, but we are a literacy solutions organization that works to serve individuals, students that struggle with reading, as well as the educators in the community that supports them. My job here at the organization, I've been here for 17 years. And in those 17 years, I've really been on a journey myself in the fact of really getting into understanding literacy at a deeper level, went and got certified as an academic language practitioner in 2014, and also completed my PhD in literacy and educational leadership just a few short years ago. And my current role is I'm Vice President of Educator Initiatives. Now, you say that term, you're like, I don't know what that means. And oftentimes, I'm not sure I do either, other than the fact of I am here to add value to our educators and do that through building a community of educators, hosting and putting on our Spotlight Learning event series, working with thought leaders and subject matter experts around the country, bringing the latest research, converting that into actual practice in the classroom.
Awesome. Well, today I want to talk to you about summer reading and what is the importance. You know, kids are starting to wind down the school year and every kid is saying, I just don't want to look at school or schoolwork for 3 months and it's free time. But talk to me about the importance of summer reading and why, as parents and people involved in kids' lives, why that's something we should talk to them about and what is the importance of it.
So summer reading is really a critical component of a student's educational journey. And I agree with you. I mean, I was the same way and my kids were the same way. Summer, no more reading, no more books. Yeah. That's kind of the phrase that comes up when in fact we kind of need to take a step back and truly understand about the importance of language development for our students. There's so much research coming out today that talks about the importance of oral language for our students, that reading actually is parasitic on language. Now, let me describe what that means. If I am going to be a competent, confident, skilled reader, I've got to have both word recognition and language comprehension. I've got to have both that come together that make me a skilled reader. And language is so important in this process, to be able to have the vocabulary, have those words within my brain, within my cognitive capacity, so that when I do become a reader, I see the words, know what it means. And if we take a 3-month hiatus on giving our kids access to words, then think about what that does. I mean, that's the same thing as saying, well, I'm going to live a healthy lifestyle 9 months out of the year, but 3 months, I'm just going to take a break and take this hiatus.
I'm going to eat candy for 3 months. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're talking about kids reading over the summer, does it have to be grade level? Does it have to be a book? Can it be the comics in the newspaper where, or can it be books that aren't quite at grade level, but they're interesting to the kid? What kind of reading should they be doing over the summer?
Here is where I will say reading is reading. It does not matter. It's whatever engages a child. And I'm going to even expand reading to be about literacy at large. So often we think that reading from a book is the only way to get access to words. This is about building words. Dr. Marianne Wolf, she talks all the time about word exposure. I've got to be exposed to more words. And so absolutely reading a book, if it's of interest to that student, sparks their curiosity, their wonderings, and creates that cognitive capacity in their brains. That's what we're striving for. And that is most well done through stories, through authentic literature, stories, those graphic novels that kids love. I will say at Learning Ally, we have audiobooks, and our number one downloaded book is Dog Man.
I was going to just say, so Dog Man's okay over the summer. Not okay for book report, but it's okay for the summer. Okay.
Exactly. If Dog Man is your thing, because that's what everybody is doing, then let's read some Dog Man. Absolutely.
Okay. And so if we're talking about the kiddo that likes to read the same book, I'm thinking, Dog Man and that sort of thing. But if they want to read that same book 3, 4, 5 times, let them go. Let them read that book 5 times if they want to read. It does not matter. Just the exposure and the practice and all that sort of thing. Correct?
Absolutely. It is about, and reading is about repetition too. And so that repetition, I'm seeing those words and I am reading those words over and over. And here's something interesting too. I think we as adults have known this, but we haven't really been able to put our finger on it. There is something called transactional theory. And so transactional theory says that every time that we read something, then we actually interact with that text differently depending upon our schema, what we have built up in our brains. Think about it. We've all done the same thing. We read something and then maybe come back to it a year or so later, doesn't matter when, and I glean something different. I learn something different from that text because of my background, my experiences, my funds of knowledge are different at that particular point.
Right. So when you're in high school and you read Shakespeare, it's different than when you're in college and you read Shakespeare, right? Correct? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. So in terms of practical language, when we're out with kids during the summertime, it's a little bit more relaxed. But if I'm mom or dad and we're at the grocery store, give the kid the grocery list and have them read us what we need to pick out at the store. Or when we're at the restaurant, let them read the menu instead of just saying, here's what's on the menu. Are those the kinds of readings that would also help over the summer where, just the practical reading in life? Is that also helpful?
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought this up because this is where that larger concept of literacy comes into play. So often we use that word literacy and people immediately think of books and reading books. And absolutely, 100%, you should always have a book handy around ready to go. However, parents, I really want you to think about literacy building in your homes. This is done through reading that menu. This is done through reading the recipe and cooking together in the summer. This is the silly songs that you sing together where you make up words and have fun and a back and forth dialogue with your kids. It's through play. It's through games. Especially if you're in my household, we get pretty intense with games like Pictionary. So go at it, right? Families, go at it. It's through so much.